Unmasked right now. Hello and welcome to this short segment that we've dubbed PolitiTalks, where today I'm joined with Josh Pinado to discuss some of the recent political events that have been happening. So politics, social movements, and that kind of realm is like something you're very passionate about, something that you really enjoy. What drew you to some of those things, and like what keeps you engaged in the mess that is politics often?
I don't know. I guess I was in high school during the 2016 presidential election, and I didn't really know a lot. I don't know. I was never that interested or engaged in it. But in 2015, I saw my very first Bernie Sanders ad. He was the first politician that ever popped up on YouTube feed. He was like, we need more honesty and less corruption, and working Americans are, being kind of trampled on by the rich people. And I was like, okay, I vibe. And so I just been like following Sanders since then. And I don't know, he got me into the political scene, I guess. And as long as he's in it, I guess I'll be interested in it.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So it was really kind of Sanders that first. Was it a campaign ad or just?
Yeah, it was his first like announcing he's running for president, and I was like, ooh, this guy seems neat. I didn't even know what party he was. I didn't know what parties were. I was like, honesty, a lack of corruption. I'm here for it.
We were in high school. What did we know, right?
I knew nothing.
No, that's very neat though. So we had the first vice presidential debate that aired last week. Was it Thursday? And I want to talk a bit about what happened during that. So let's start first by addressing kind of what wasn't addressed. For instance, Mike Pence throughout, at one point during the debate, repeatedly avoided questions concerning, whether President Trump would commit to a peaceful transfer of power should he lose the upcoming election. And then Kamala Harris repeatedly danced around a question regarding court packing, or what would happen if her party won the election. Would they increase the Supreme Court to 15 justices just to kind of, get their way? So, what did you take away from those moments?
Gosh, I don't know. I'm worried when politicians don't answer questions. But also, it's impossible to hold them accountable in my mind. So it's like if they did answer the questions and they said what we wanted to hear, I don't really think it would matter because I'm not sure they'd follow through. I found it concerning, though. I'm not going to lie.
Sure. So you think it's do you think it's important that we kind of take notice of those things and kind of jot them down? Or is it just something that happens in debate, like politicians are going to avoid stuff?
I'd say take notice. Take notice of what if they're not willing to commit to a peaceful transfer of power. I mean, it's a pretty simple step, right? Or court packing. I don't know. I think it's a pretty simple thing to take notice of. Feels easy to commit to, but I guess not.
You would think so. A lot of those seemed like yes or no questions, and they just weren't. So both of these individuals throughout the 90-minute debate kept coming back to the subject of taxes, and with several times them using most of their 2 minutes to just talk about this and keep coming back to it. Kamala Harris saying multiple times that Joe Biden has no plans to raise taxes for anyone not making over $400,000 a year. Vice President Mike Pence repeatedly refuted those statements, saying that if the Biden administration were to repeal the Trump tax cuts, as they've claimed, that it would be damaging to millions and millions of Americans. So who's right here? Is either person right? What are some of the implications that this issue might have?
I guess it's a little confusing because on a technical note, did the Trump tax cuts give middle-class Americans a little bit of something? Yeah. On the other note, was the majority of it for middle-class Americans? No. So when Biden says is he going to repeal it, is he just going to repeal the tax cuts for the billionaires? Is he going to repeal all of it, including the tax cuts for middle America? I think looking at his plan, it's specifically the tax cuts that Trump gave to the richest Americans, which would imply that middle-class Americans don't get any new taxes. But then again, I don't know. They weren't very specific on which part of the Trump tax cuts they're going to be getting rid of. So I guess the specificity of their answer wasn't quite there.
Right.
But that's my understanding is that no new taxes for middle class Americans.
I mean, we would hope not. We would hope not. I'm the one that has to pay those. Yeah. So, but more of it's important to look at those those very specific things that Biden is trying to look at? Is he trying to look at getting rid of the whole thing, or like what exactly is he talking about?
Yeah, it's a little unclear, but I think generally he's promised to keep the tax cuts for middle class Americans. But once again, there's no solid answer. I don't think. I don't know. Yeah.
Right. Well, let's move on to kind of an overall sense of what happened. So last week's debate certainly felt more civilized.
That was good.
And productive than the previous week's debate between Trump and Biden. But did you feel that it actually served its purpose? Was it as productive and informative as it seemed, or was it simply that the bar was set so low from the week before?
What a low bar. I mean, it's hard to not top the presidential debate. I have a hard time seeing that its purpose came through. If its purpose was to inform the American public of anything, I dare say I don't feel informed. They dodged questions. They lied at every possible opportunity. I mean, I think the format of debate is kind of outdated if we can't fact check them, because all they're going to do is lie or avoid questions, and none of us come away more informed. I'm just not sure debates are actually helping our democracy right now.
No, that seems like a valuable opinion. So, one very, very quickly, maybe one thing that you think you'd like to see from the upcoming presidential debate, not the second, but the final one happening on the 22nd. Maybe one thing that you'd like them to talk about specifically.
They talked about it. They touched on in the first one. They touched on the climate crisis. I'd really love for them to hone in on that, because that for me is the biggest issue. I know it's an issue for a lot of people in our generation. We're the future of democracy.
Right.
So I think it'd just be really nice to hone in on what exactly the Trump and Biden plans are, because I personally think Biden has a pretty great plan. It's not exactly what I'm wanted or was hoping for, but I think it's a pretty good plan. Trump really doesn't have a plan aside from saving the oceans, which is good, but I'd like some more specifics from both of them.
Those specifics are important.
The American people to understand the specifics, because I think one of them has a great plan.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing some of your opinions and your insights, and thank you guys for watching. Those of you who may have been watching, thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you next time. Good.
Look at that.
Thanks so much, my guy.
Good stuff, y'all. Thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
It's a lot of fun. But honestly, though, are we actually going to get a decent debate?
No.
Dude, I hadn't actually thought of that. Like the whole debate being outdated. I feel that.
It's like jousting.
Yeah. No, but what actually gets accomplished?
What?
What would you do in place of the debate?
Hear me out. I think there's a way to make debates function. I think if you fact check them live, do live fact checking, if you can mute them, if you can, there are ways to make debates relevant. But I mean,
they tried to do that, and then Trump was like, nah.
He swung out.
I mean, that's what the organization suggested, was that if they go, it's for overtime, but. No, but that's true though, because I've watching. I mean, even through the chaos of this one, and even 4 years ago in the last election.
Yeah.
What actually does it accomplish? It's not.
Yeah.
You're not trying to find middle ground. You're just.
It's not like they're telling the truth. They're just telling whatever helps their side.
Right. They're just pushing their agenda. They're just pushing their side.
I feel like it'd be better even just to have a couple people just going over their plans that aren't related to either party. Honestly,
clarification.
Because they actually have policy.
Yeah.
Both of them have policy plans, but no one understands or knows any of it because they never speak about it.
Well. Trump has been saying that he has a replacement for ACA for 4 years, and it still doesn't exist.
He has bullet points.
Bullet points. There's a replacement for the Affordable Care Act, and it's going to be better. Do we have it? No, not at all.
Maybe in 4 more years.
Maybe
we'll get a couple sentences on that.
Yeah.
I don't know,
man. We can get a 3-sentence paragraph. Elementary
it's crazy.
School would be amazing. Imagine not being able to be on your parents' plan until 26.
This is
what a world
troubling.
We might live in.
I gotta say, are the cameras still rolling?
No.
Are we good?
I mean, they can hear us in there, but we're off air.
In that case, may I add, maybe it's best that America just dissolves. We've had our shot.
Honestly,
we've had our shot.
I've been looking at like Europe.
We're like the Roman Empire.